It begins like any other morning. Sunlight filters through blinds, coffee brews, the world hums in its ordinary rhythm. And then, it doesn't. At 5:52 a.m. Eastern Time, a flash of information appears online. Rumors at first, satellite images, a missile streaking across the sky somewhere far away. Eastern Europe, maybe. The details are vague, conflicting, impossible to fully verify. Within minutes, social media fills with speculation, screenshots, and videos that may or may not be real. News networks scramble, their anchors pausing, words caught between disbelief and obligation. By 6:15 a.m., the first confirmed reports arrive. A military strike. The first salvo in a global conflict. Across the United States, the reaction is quiet at first. Not chaos, but a stunned hesitation. Phones buzz on nightstands. A few early risers scroll through headlines that grow more alarming by the second. The markets are still closed. Flights are boarding. Morning radio hums on in kitchens and cars. Coffee drips. Life continues, superficially normal. But beneath that surface, tension ripples like water disturbed by an unseen stone. At 6:40 a.m., emergency alerts illuminate screens along the East Coast. A DEFC warning, national defense condition elevated, remain indoors, await further instructions.
Many Americans have never heard the DEFC tone before. Some assume it's a prank. Others think it's a regional glitch. But the sharp, insistent sound silences breakfast tables and halts commuters mid-step. Law enforcement activates protocols written decades earlier. Transit stops, subways halt, airspace is cleared over major cities, flights to Europe are rerouted. And still, there are no explosions, only information, fragments, and fear. Television networks switch to continuous emergency coverage. Government officials urge calm, but the unease in their expressions betrays the truth. This is no drill. By 7:30 a.m., Americans watch the sunrise with a new awareness. Something irreversible has begun thousands of miles away. The first wave of war is not measured in bombs or artillery, but in disbelief, in the quiet spread of knowledge that life as they know it may be ending. By 8 a.m., daily routines start to fracture. Communications remain mostly intact, but information becomes both lifeline and hazard. Reports loop endlessly. Remain indoors, stay calm, await further instruction. Supermarkets fill with people grabbing bottled water, canned goods, and batteries. Gas stations stretch with lines of idling cars. Conversations spike with panic. People who hours ago worried about being late for work now fear scarcity. The government strategy is containment. Keep the public informed, but not terrified. Maintain order while military assets reposition behind the scenes. But the absence of visible war erodes control. By 9:30 a.m., false reports accelerate faster than officials can respond. Claims of missile impacts in Houston, Miami, and Los Angeles trend online. Videos of streaks in the sky flood feeds. Some are real, many are fabricated. Distinguishing fact from fiction becomes impossible.
In Washington, D.C., the White House stands behind barricades. Military convoys move south, unseen. In New York, trading on Wall Street halts. The markets don't crash, they freeze. Across the Midwest, power grids fluctuate not from attack, but from overwhelming demand. Phones, freezers, and radios drain circuits. Fear of disconnection feels as immediate as the threat of bombs. By 11 a.m., schools nationwide close. Parents flood highways to collect children. Interstate traffic snarls. Daily life is not ending in explosions, but in instinctive survival. America is learning a new paradox of modern war. The battlefield may not yet arrive, but its shadow touches every screen, every voice, every decision. At 12:30 p.m., the first signs of infrastructure collapse appear. Cyber disruptions begin quietly, almost imperceptibly. ATMs freeze mid-transaction. Debit cards fail. Internet slows, then stutters, then dies. Entire regions lose access to online banking, government websites, and news feeds. Social media flickers and vanishes. Panic spreads like an invisible contagion. Stores struggle to sell remaining supplies. In rural areas, cell towers fail one by one, isolating communities entirely. Emergency radio stations become the final thread of communication. A calm, repetitive voice issues instructions. Remain calm. Federal authorities are responding. Repetition becomes mantra. Few believe it. By 1:30 p.m., hospitals initiate emergency protocols. Generators hum. Ambulances idle, conserving fuel. Patients' families gather outside, desperate for news that no longer comes. At home, people stare at blank screens, routers lifeless. Parents dig through drawers for flashlights, radios, and batteries. The absence of information breeds imagination and fear. The United States, for the first time in decades, feels truly isolated. By 2:30 p.m., one truth emerges. In modern war, the first casualties are not cities or soldiers, but certainty. Streets are quieter, highways more crowded with stalled cars than evacuating people. Shops remain shuttered. Airplanes are grounded. The world Americans knew is gone in principle, if not yet in visible destruction. By 4 p.m., power outages expand. Digital connections fail across the country. Americans rediscover human rhythms. Neighbors converse across fences. Families gather by candlelight. Radio operators, once a hobby, become lifelines. Communities improvise, sharing resources, food, and information. Even amid fear, a fragile unity takes root. By 5:45 p.m., the sun dips behind the horizon unnoticed. Major cities enforce curfews. Police patrol empty streets, loudspeakers repeating instructions to return home and remain indoors. Fear evolves. It is no longer about missiles or bombs. It is the fear of the unseen, the unknown, the invisible line separating what is lost from what remains. By 6:30 p.m., rumors of naval clashes offshore spread. Unconfirmed explosions reach social media feeds that are offline. Verification is impossible. Highways are silent. Cars rest with engines off, fuel conserved. Aircraft punctuate the sky with faint streaks of light, satellites, drones, or something else entirely. In homes, Americans return to simple routines, handwritten notes, whispered prayers, quiet conversations. Those who once relied on screens and networks reconnect to neighbors and community. Churches open doors, volunteers distribute food, amateur radio operators connect states and towns. Adaptation is slow, improvisational, human. By 8 p.m., the blackout has spread coast to coast. The first day of WW3 ends not in fire, but in silence. The war has yet to reach every home physically, but its shadow permeates every mind. The morning after carries no sense of normalcy, only the knowledge that the world has changed irrevocably. By the following morning, streets are lined with abandoned cars, gas stations dark, signs frozen in place. The landscape is defined by silence rather than destruction. Government messages through emergency radio are mechanical, brief. Shelter in place. Assistance is coming, but timing and location are unknown. In homes, Americans inventory essentials: food, water, fuel. Grocery stores are shuttered, cut off from logistics networks. Credit cards are useless. What seemed limitless, power, communication, abundance,
has become finite, measured in hours, liters, and calories. And yet, beneath fear, a strange calm emerges. Neighbors share meals by candlelight. Parents comfort children with stories of resilience. Communities rediscover what it means to belong, to support, to endure. History rarely announces itself. It arrives quietly, in choices made under duress by ordinary people. By noon of the second day, makeshift aid centers form in schools, churches, and parking lots. Amateur radio operators report intermittent transmissions from overseas, fragments suggesting the conflict expands. For most Americans, the front line is invisible, defined not by distance, but by uncertainty. Within 24 hours, a nation built on abundance learns the fragility of modern systems. The grid, the markets, the screens, gone, leaving only human currency, trust, courage, and the will to survive. The first day of WW3 ends not with explosions, but with awakening, awareness, the realization that survival is measured not in firepower, but in human adaptability, compassion, and resilience. The morning after carries no comfort, only the heavy knowledge that the world has irrevocably changed.